Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I know a lot of people only get to play solo in comp, whether your friends are always too busy or if you're just like me and you have no friends. We all know the frustration of hopping into a solo game and just getting nothing good out of it, whether the 3Q on your team is only using Discord to communicate, or you have a pair of Shimada brothers that insta-locked from the beginning. Here are some of the best tips I can give that will probably help you out and improve your solo experience. Now, I myself do not play a huge amount of solo. I do like to play a lot with my friends who have been getting better alongside me, increasing both our skill and how well we're playing together. But I decided to go on a little bit of a journey to play a ton of competitive solo, so I can actually experience and study what goes on in my head, how my teammates are interacting with each other, and what I really should be doing so I can be a solid player both on my own team and in solo queue. So first of all, we really have to talk about that match chat. Seeing insta-locked teammates right from the beginning is one of the worst feelings in the game, since they're typically unwilling to switch off. But let's lay down some important ground rules here. There is no situation that you should have to flame your own team member, even if they're locking Torbjorn or Widow or Hanzo or whatever hero you particularly despise. There are a couple of reasons for this. First of all, the most often case is that someone has been playing heroes that they're not particularly comfortable on for most of their matches, and they want to secure a hero that they know they can do really well on. The second case is that they really just need a bit of persuasion, not flame, to change heroes. I'm not all about buttering people up to make them switch, but you have to understand that murdering them with words will absolutely guarantee 10 out of 10 times that they will never switch off. There are a couple of situations that you need to learn to work around. If they refuse to join the voice channel, try and reach them through the text chat, or one of the best things you can just do is build your team comp like normal. If they look like they're throwing on that hero, try and fill the team comp as if they're not there, even if it means having one less tank or healer to make sure you can get the DPS roles you need. It's something you might have to do to get better results in the game. If you know that they play that hero a lot, like somehow they're a Torbjorn god with over 40 hours that season, your best bet is just to build around them since they very clearly know what they're doing. So keep in mind, not all insta-locks intend to throw, but if you have the feeling that they can be persuaded, giving them the confidence to swap heroes and fill out your team a little bit more is your best option. Tip number 2 is to try and be a little bit more assertive in what you want to play. This is something that I know I really need to work on myself, but honestly I really have to stress that playing flex your whole life is going to come back and murder you in the long run. I know I am literally one of the worst offenders for that. I've been playing DPS and tanks that I never would have dreamed of a couple months ago, and that's because I join in a new game, and I just wait to see what everyone else picks. So, every few games this is alright since you should be a team player, but this game definitely rewards you for doing well on up to 3 or 4 heroes, not all of them. So my whole roster of characters has just gone from Pharah, Genji, and Zenyatta to include Reinhardt, Moira, Lucio, Winston, a bit of Diva here and there, some Soldier 76, and some Widowmaker, which has really not been that good for my playing. My focus has been too heavily on filling that even some of my old mains have less playtime than what I've been told to fill onto. And so I myself have to become a little bit more assertive and get back into playing my preferred heroes, and I suggest that you do the same. Discipline yourself to 3 heroes max, try and do really well on them, and see where it takes you. I can guarantee you that having 3 heroes that you can play well on is a better strategy than filling for your team the entire time you play your seasons. A lot of players lock onto what they're comfortable on, but you don't always have to be the one to play what you're not comfortable on, remember that. I believe that I can carry the best on DPS and play really well in support, but for this last season I've been forced onto a lot of tank, and ladies and gentlemen, spare yourself from the messy spiral of playing so much of a fill role that it is expected from you when your team sees your profile, because it is really hard to get out of that. Tip number 3 is to notice every little detail of your playing and look at what you didn't do to improve your own skills. In other words, try and master the art of never ever blaming your teammates. I know it's a really hard thing to do, especially if you have 3 or 4 gold medals and you're still losing, but there's always something you can do to be doing better. So until you hit top 500 and you're literally getting contracts from the Overwatch League, never tell me that there was nothing you could have done better. And yes, I believe that there are some situations that are completely out of your control, but remember that 3 Grandmaster players can beat a team of Silvers, and that until you reach the point of literally solo carrying, there is something that you can improve on with your playing. I know it's something that a lot of players generally go to, just blame the Widow for not switching or your team for not focusing a certain hero, but that's one of the biggest problems. You're too focused on how your team is playing, but not yourself. you will only see these people in that game once, and maybe again if you queue right after, but you have to live with your own skills and abilities for the rest of your games. So after your next death or team fight, sit back and ask yourself what you could have done better to even slightly improve your team's chances of winning. Even if it means you could have swapped heroes sooner, or you shouldn't have gotten tunnel vision for a certain enemy, or that you used your ultimate at the wrong time, or even small things like you missed a couple shots on that Pharah and she was able to use her ultimate because of it. There's always a way to improve, so never ever say that none of it was your fault. Tip number 4 is to learn when to cool down and when to keep playing. As a general rule I have, and even my team generally follows, is that we don't ever queue after 2 losses. Why? Well, think about this. If you lose one game, it's probably not your fault, and anything could have happened, or you got really unlucky in certain parts, which is fine. You can play a second game if you lose one, but if you lose another, you have to accept that even if your team was stupid, or you had throwers and levers, or you truly believe that it was your fault or whatever, no matter what reasons you might have for why you might have lost, it is a good idea to stop queuing, take a break, maybe play some quick play or arcade or whatever it might be that lets you cool down until you feel like you're ready to go back into comp and try again. Maybe you were tired and it was the morning, or maybe it was late at night and you just need a good night's sleep to refresh your brain back to its peak performance. Really, it's just a good idea to take a break, since the effects of losing 2 games makes you not only tilted, but you might start getting more irritated or sad and you can't play your hardest. Even the mood you could be in can affect the morale of the whole team. You might start flaming teammates more, noticing your own mistakes less, and ultimately you will start playing worse. It's just the facts. So if you ever lose 2 games in a row to something stupid, go and grab a drink and a snack and take like a 5-minute break, and maybe longer depending on how you're feeling. Trust me, the mood you have in your games affects your playing in more ways than you know, so even though it sounds pretty stupid, it'll really help improve your SR in the long run. Finally, let's get really far out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of people, especially in solo queue, love to go immediately for the 2 tank, 2 healer, and 2 DPS, but I'll let you consider that that hasn't been the set in stone meta for multiple seasons. It's more often I find that triple tank is better for playing on a point, and that defending against a payload can sometimes work better with 3 DPS and only 1 tank. It really depends on your situation, but don't be afraid to suggest a different comp, as I'm sure a lot of people will agree with you in some situations. I've once held first point on King's Row with 1 Moira only on healing and 3 tanks. It's amazing what you can do sometimes with different styles of comps that aren't the first thought people go into in solo queue, mainly because they require a bit more coordination and communication, but likewise using it against a team that's probably also not communicating as much as they should be, it will be very, very hard for them to stop. So I want you to hop into the voice comms and work out with your team if they'd be comfortable with a different style of composition, as it can be really, really beneficial in your games. Playing solo on the ladder isn't always the best time, I have to admit, but I hope after today your solo games will go much better. It might not be immediate, but I'm certain that applying these tips will help to improve your SR and get you closer to a rank with players that aren't total potatoes. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, as it's hugely appreciated and helps spread the video out across the YouTube galaxy. Want to see more Overwatch videos? Well, hit the subscribe button and make sure to click that bell icon so you never miss another upload. This is Carter signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day.